Hello, everyone. It's your host, your friend, your boy, Jet Black, the one and only, here with
Maddie.
And today we will be creating some custom cards. Now you may be like, yo, the title says Dueling Book. I don't see Dueling Book. What's going on here? It's because I need to type up the cards first. So I have my side, and then I have the live chat. Kind of have the live chat. I need to refresh that live chat. And that way I'll be able to talk with you all during the stream, hear you guys' thoughts. I've been requested to specifically work on a custom Yu-Gi-Oh deck based around making Greek mythology monsters. I think I want to make a whole deck based off of hydras, and each card represents a different head of the hydra and has like a different effect. So that's what I'm currently going for. Okay. Yo, Ryan, welcome to the stream. It was good to have you.
Yo!
So I already have listed a bunch of like custom Yu-Gi-Oh card notes here. So what I'm going to do is set up a new thing and call it Hydra. Not to be confused with the Nazi allegory that's in Marvel, where they have like Hail Hydra. Captain America was Captain Hydra for a little bit, which was interesting. Maddie like smile cringed. That was interesting. Blah blah blah, comic book shenanigans. It happens. So let's see. So I think all of them will be like Hydra head something in its title. So I'm just gonna pre-type Hydra head for like each line. Let's see. Ryan said, or the communication system at Camp X in WW2. Oh, sorry. I don't know why I said that. I've been watching a lot of wrestling and World War II. So they called their communication system Hydra. Is there any particular reason why they called it Hydra? That sounds somewhat interesting, not gonna lie. Okay, let's see. So Hydra head of head of curiosity will be like the searcher. Then we got Hydra head of protection is going to be like the card protection one. Hydra head of destruction is going to be the card destruction one. Hydra head of, let me scroll up because I have an idea of what every archetype needs. I feel like every archetype needs a searcher, a way to destroy your opponent's cards, a way to protect your cards, a way to take away some kind of drawback that your cards may inherently have, and a clearly defined win condition. I feel like if an archetype has all 5 of those things, then you can ensure that you have like a solid archetype that has every component that it needs. So we have the searcher, destruction, protection. Drawback nullifier is going to be weird. Maybe it'll be called like Hydra head of mysticism. That actually is already a pretty interesting name. So I have the name for the 5 Hydra cards that I want to make today. But now I need to go over effects. But I also need to kind of figure out what the gimmick is. So Ryan said, it doth not need all those. So what do you feel like are the basic components that every Yu-Gi-Oh archetype needs? I mean, I guess that they don't necessarily all need those things. It really depends on what the archetype does. But what do you think are like the bare minimum things that an archetype needs for it to be a good archetype? Matt said, Ryan, you don't even care about Greek mythology, so why? And then Ryan said, I do, though. He does fuck with the Greek mythology. Matt, you were mistaken. So I know that Hydra Head of Curiosity will allow you to add 1 Hydra Head card from your deck or graveyard to your hand. Let's see.
I feel like Ryan would be proud. I've been listening to podcasts recently.
Oh, what kind of podcast have you been listening to? I think that'll really change how proud he is.
One's in Spanish.
Oh, nice. So what podcast in particular? Like if you would recommend any, and like what are they about? Also, your boy Matt said, but you wanted Jet to build a Highlander deck, so why not finish that? Since Jet won't touch that on his own accord. So tell me more about the podcast. Ryan said because that would divide the vote. which is true. Something else was already voted for. So if he went for that, he'd be like competing instead of like helping something win.
Right. Let me find the podcast. Okay. So, Radio Ambulante. So basically, that's NPR in Spanish, and they talk about different news things going on with the country. And then that's mostly like it's going through what's going on in the United States, but in Spanish. And it gives like personal stories. Like they bring people in and interview them. There's news in slow Spanish from Spain advanced, and it talks about like international stuff and Spain issues. And then I have El Machuelo. I haven't started it yet, but it's supposedly a story about like a professor or something.
Real quick, your boy Matt said exactly. Then you would have to win the dice roll, like I've been having to do. Matt's tired of like tying in the fan poll. He said also Jet here making a Hydra. It's actually Orochi in disguise. Like Orochimaru. Is it like a reference that I don't understand? I don't know a whole bunch of Japanese names, so I immediately just thought Naruto. Then Ryan said an unnecessary risk. True, because Ryan can guarantee that he gets at least something that he likes by voting for something similar that's already in the fan poll versus throwing another straw in the race and then having a 1 out of 3 chance of getting something he doesn't want to watch. He just doesn't necessarily fuck with that. And then Matt said Orochi, the 8-headed serpent. Oh, cool. The more you learn, Japanese gong in the background. Let's see. Hydra head of protection. If another Hydra head card you control would be destroyed, no, would be removed from the field by battle or card effect, you can special summon. Would it be a special summon? It depends on. One Hydra head monster from your hand or graveyard. I'm trying to make sure it's not too overpowered. I want it to be a thing where you can grow the heads back. Like a Hydra. Well, Hydras, they don't just grow the heads back, but they get more heads when they're cut off. So I'm not exactly sure how I want to do it. I don't know. But Hydra Head of Protection is like if another Hydra Head card you control would be removed from the field by battle or card effect, you can special summon one Hydra Head monster from your hand or graveyard. It's not even protection. It doesn't protect the head. You just replace it. Let's see. Then Matt said Hydras don't have elements, just heads. Well, I mean, Hydras can have elements. What's true? Tiamat in Dungeons and Dragons is like a weird Hydra dragon that has like multiple elemental heads or whatever. I feel weird about Head of Protection. It doesn't protect shit. It doesn't do the thing it's supposed to do. If another Hydra head card you control would be removed from the field by battle or card effect, you can special summon one Hydra head. Because that's not protecting anything. That's just doing the Hydra gimmick. And then Matt said, but not Greek Hydras. This is a Greek deck. Well, I mean, I didn't say that the heads were different elements. I just have them saying head of, not like head of fire, you know. Maybe they have different personalities for each head, Matt. Give me some artistic liberties. Ryan said Orochimaru has the 8 branches technique. I don't know why I said it like that. 8 branches technique. Branches? Would you like to get a branch later? I may have to come back to Hydra Head of Protection. I just don't think it's a protection effect. It's cool. It seems to go with the gimmick. If anything, Head of Protection's effect should be on Head of Mysticism. Because Head of Mysticism can be the gimmick. So if another Hydra Head card you control will be removed from the field by battle or card effect, you can special summon 1 Hydra Head monster from your hand or graveyard. It's weird that it's 1, because you don't get more. Kind of wish there needs to be. I don't know. I'll figure it out. Then Matt said, they more or less are different elements, since the Hydra Head should be identical to each other. Well, why can't they have different personalities, Matt? I feel like Matt's hating. Maddie, what's your... Do you feel like Matt's hating?
Perhaps.
He is perhaps hating. You are perhaps hating Matt. Maddie's worst. The Nerd Tinker said, Jet. Yo, Nerd Tinker, welcome to the stream. It's good to have you.
Hey, Nerd Tinker.
We also got Maddie here in the studio.
Hey.
Yu-Gi-Oh! And I'm working on a Hydra deck concept. Right now I have 5 Hydra heads that I'm working on. Still don't know what I'm going to put for Hydra Head of Protection. We'll figure something out. Let's see. Hydra Head of Victory. It more or less needs to be like the win condition. Boom, 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 boom. If you control 5 face-up... Yeah, I'm trying to figure out what I want it to do. Maybe it can be a gain attack thing. All Hydra Head monsters. Nerd Tinker said, hey, how are you? Fantastic as always. Thank you for asking. How are you doing today, Nerd Tinker? Let's see. Matt said the meme is that Hydras are too silly as a sub-archetype. Too silly? What's silly about a multi-headed monster? Then Ryan said he is dead. I am very clearly dead. Maddie, can you confirm that I am dead?
Yeah.
Yeah, see? You heard it here first. Nerd Tinker said good. Then Matt said, never mind, you got to it. Then Ryan said, killed by his ex-wife whilst sitting on her. I feel like she wouldn't be in an advantageous position to
Bitch
kill me. Bitch you think is very interesting. I'm so used to bitch you thought. What? I understand what you mean if my guard's down, but normally you're facing down, Maddie. You're and I'm on top. How are you gonna... I feel like I would see what you were doing. I think I'm ready.
No.
Straight slide you. All Hydra Head monsters you control gain. It needs to be lower. I don't want it to be gain 500 attack. Gain 100 attack for each face up Hydra Head monster on the field. Let's see. Then Nerd Tinker said Ryan in all caps. Ryan said whilst, not whilst. Then wait, whilst, not whilst. I see. Then Matt said a multi-headed monster that splits between multiple cards that can then summon each other. When it could just be one card that can gain multiples of attack points based on specific conditions. So Matt just has like a different idea for a Hydra archetype. Then Nerd Tinker said Hydra Logic, when you destroy 1, 2 more spawn. It is true that you're supposed to get 2, not just 1. So I might change Hydra Head of Mysticism to make it where you can get 2 Hydra Heads. Hopefully that's not too powerful of a thing. And then Matt said you're hammering too hard into Hydras specifically and not Greek mythology as a whole. And then Ryan said like Nimble Mamanga. And then Matt said your Hydra archetype is silly. I don't think it's that silly. So the main reason why Kratos requested it is because he wanted Greek mythology monsters for his Greek god deck to face off against. But I felt like the concept of hydras were really cool, and that they were too cool for just like one card. I would prefer to have like a whole bunch of cards with individual heads, each going at it and doing something interesting. I would ask Maddie what are her thoughts on the Hydra head archetype thing. I think she's going for that nap, going for those Z's. Ryan said, when this card is destroyed by battle and sent to the graveyard, gain 1,000 life points. Then you can special summon any number of Nimble Momongas from your deck in face down defense position. I've played Nimble Momongas, very interesting name, before in a previous deck. Isn't the image of it like a flying squirrel, more or less? I think I've played it in a defense-based deck where you're trying to create like a defensive wall. Not necessarily the best card for that kind of thing, but it's interesting. Matt said, I'm sure he wanted to fight more than one Greek monster. I don't know. Hydras are pretty epic. Yeah, you might be fucking with it. Let's see. Hydra head monsters you control. Except this card cannot be removed from the field by battle or card effect. So Hydra head monsters you control, except this card, cannot be removed from the field by battle or card effect. As long as this card remains face up on the field. There we go. Then Matt said it didn't just have to be one card, but making a whole deck defeats the whole purpose of a Greek monster deck. I don't know. I see it as multiple different decks that you can have. Ryan said, don't sit on her while she's sleeping. That would be rude. Then Matt said, they're not even that cool. You don't like hydras? Maddie, for one, I wouldn't sit on you while you're sleeping.
Thank you.
That's weird. Second, are hydras cool?
No, I haven't met one personally, so I can't say for sure.
I haven't met one personally. From a distance, do they seem cool?
They seem alright.
They seem alright. It seems like Maddie might be falling into your camp of hydras aren't necessarily that cool. Her response was very low key. And then Ryan said, yes, the lizards are better. Ryan said, yes, lizards are better. Then Matt said minotaurs, cyclopses, harpies. And he said, wow, Yu-Gi-Oh! Actually has those in spades. Centaurs, pegasi, hippocampi, chimera. There are so many interesting options. What the fuck is a hippocampi?
It's multiple hippocampuses.
Could you give me that knowledge, Matt? I've never heard of that before. As a matter of fact, time to hit up Google because I've kind of figured out what I want for all the different Hydra heads. Because the hippocampus is a part of the brain. I'm aware of that. But there's a it's a seahorse style sea monster. What? Greek. Let's get some images. Oh shit. Maddie, you a nut. Check this shit out. It's like a mermaid horse.
Oh, that's cute. I like that.
That is an interesting idea.
I like that.
I hadn't heard of that before. Let's see. Matt said a water horse, birthed by Poseidon. Oh, they're god child horses? That is, what if there was a horse type for every god? They gave birth to a horse that has special powers, like a lightning horse for Zeus. That could be an archetype. Mm-hmm. Would they be demi-breed? I don't know. Maybe we got an archetype idea going on, Matt, giving us these ideas. Then Nerd Tinker says seahorse. Then Ryan said harpies are one of the earliest archetypes. Truth. I like that. I like the idea. Are they always sea-based? All these pictures are sea-based. So I guess so. It would be really cool if all the gods had interesting horse children though. I could see that being an archetype. So this is Hydra Head. I need to figure out what the attack and defense on all these cards will be. So Hydra Head of Curiosity, I've decided to make a once per turn. Once per turn, you can add one Hydra Head card from your deck or graveyard to your hand. Hydra Head of Destruction, once per turn, you can destroy one card on the field for each face-up Hydra Head card you control. Hydra Head of Protection, Hydra Head monsters you control, except this card, cannot be removed from the field by battle or card effect as long as this card remains face-up on the field. Hydra Head of Mysticism, if another Hydra Head card you control would be removed from the field by battle or card effect, you can special summon 2 Hydra Head monsters from your hand or graveyard. And then Hydra Head of Victory, all Hydra Head monsters you control gain 100 attack for each face-up Hydra Head monster on the field. And since there are 5 Hydra Head cards, if they were to be all monsters, they don't necessarily have to be, then you could have a total of 500 attack put on each one, boosting them up. So let's see. Let me read through. Matt said, if you want to make a My Little Pony deck, then by all means. My Little Pony isn't a bunch of like magical horses birthed by gods, are they? Mm-hmm. I've never really gotten into it. That makes the lore sound a lot more interesting, I'll tell you that. Ryan said Apollo would have flying reindeer to pull his sleigh. I mean, his chariot. Sounded a lot like Santa Claus there. The Nerd Taker said already made. What? The Demi Breed thing? Is that like actually already a deck concept with like the god horses and everything? I'd be surprised. Then Ryan said the one My Little Pony deck I dueled was awful. I could see Jared making a My Little Pony deck. That sounds like something he'd do. Matt said Victory just is bad. You don't like Hydra Head of Victory? All Hydra Head monsters you control gain 100 attack for each Hydra Head monster on the field. I don't know. Maybe I can keep thinking of some ideas. Ryan said, or it needs another effect. So you guys feel like Hydra Head of Victory is too weak for what it is? Then Matt said, it's just about the same concept. The idea of the horses being birthed from like gods and having special powers. Does My Little Pony just straight up have the horses be birthed by gods with special abilities? Then Ryan said, My Little Pony have magical alicorn gods. And then Matt said 500 attack is nothing. How much attack should they get? It's like per monster you have. And keep in mind, Head of Mysticism is pretty powerful. Just saying. Hydra Head of Multiplication is another idea that I just thought about. Once per turn, special summon 1 Hydra Head token. Hydra Head tokens cannot be used as materials to special summon extra deck monsters or be tributed. Let's see. Once per turn, you can special summon 1 Hydra Head token. When a Hydra Head monster would be removed from the field by battle or card effect. Once per turn, when a Hydra Head monster would be removed from the field by battle or card effect, special summon 1 Hydra Head token. Well, it wouldn't be 1. It's to go with the theme. Special summon 2 Hydra Head tokens. And I need to classify like what a Hydra Head token is. Zoop, zoop. So let's see. Let me scroll up a little bit. Matt said, or you could just dump the Hydra concept. Then Ryan said, is it too late to scrap now? Then Matt said, don't make it per monster and boost the attack. Don't make it per monster. Just make it be a straight boost, like all Hydra head monsters gain how much? Also, I like the idea of it being per monster because even those individual heads, all the heads together make the Hydra better, you know, kind of thing. I think that's interesting. Then Ryan said committed. Then Matt said, no, it isn't. He'll never get to Highlander. He'll never finish this. He said, then Ryan said, don't boost the attack. He said, make the opponent's monsters lose attack for each. Then Matt said, no, that's silly. And then Ryan said, like Dynomist Plesios, which works in Dynomist, as they can pendulum summon and in multiples can be quite powerful. What if Hydra Head was a pendulum archetype? That could be interesting, allowing you to summon multiple heads like at the same time. That'd be cool. Matt said, if anything, a separate card should do that. Maybe Hydra's Venom. I don't know. I don't endorse this at all, though. And he said, no, a Hydra head gains per head. What? What do you mean gains per head? I'm a little confused. Let's see. Hydra head of multiplication. Once per turn, when a Hydra head monster would be removed from the field by battle or card effect, special summon 2 Hydra head tokens. Hydra head tokens cannot be used as material to special summon extra deck monsters or be tributed. And then Ryan said, or don't. So I'm a little confused on what you guys want for Hydra head of victory. Ryan's is pretty clear. He wants the opponent to lose attack per head instead of the Hydra heads themselves gain attack per head. And then Matt wants it to be more attack, but he doesn't want it to be per head. So do you want it just at base, they all gain a certain amount of attack? I'm not entirely sure what you're going for. Matt said 1 head gets the boost per head, not all the heads, since you're pushing personality. So you don't think, oh, do you think Hydra head of victory itself should get a boost instead of all of them getting a boost? That's an interesting idea. Like it as a monster gains attack per all the other heads that are like out on the field. Because I kind of like that as an idea. Isn't that weaker though? Or would you just have that monster gain a lot of attack? And how much attack do you think would be fair for Hydra head of victory for it to gain? I'm still kind of on the fence about like what it should do or not. And then Ryan said, no, make the decrease. So make it decrease the opponent's attack. Ooh, I don't know. I'm split. I'm feeling a little indecisive here. Then Matt said, make the attack boost more potent. By how much? That would be my big question on that. I need to define what this would be. So it'll be a beast. I'm trying to remember the format. Here we go. The format's going to be something like this. But they're not going to be spellcasters, of course. Beast. Fire? I honestly don't know what element I'd want to make a Hydra, because I feel like they don't necessarily have to fit in one particular element or another. I don't think they necessarily be divine, because it doesn't have to be like a god Hydra. Then Matt said increase. Then Ryan said 200 decrease for each Hydra card. Then Matt said 400 per head. Then Ryan upped the ante and he said 1,000 decrease for each Hydra card. No, 100 decrease. Okay. So Ryan either wants Hydra head of victory to make your opponent's monsters lose 100 attack for each face-up Hydra head monster on the field. Ryan wants 1 Hydra head monster to gain 400 attack for each face-up Hydra head monster on the field. Maybe I'll just try and do both things. So Hydra head of victory alpha, and then maybe I can have Hydra head of victory beta. So your opponent's monsters lose 100 attack for each face-up Hydra Head card you control, and then Hydra Head of Victory Beta. This monster gains 400 attack for each face-up Hydra Head. 400. Hold up, what? I feel like what I was about to say is just too much. So that's per head. 400 attack for each face-up Hydra Head monster you control. And he said maybe boost to 500. Wouldn't 500 be too much? Imagine if you controlled 5 Hydra Head monsters. That one monster would then gain 2,500 attack. That guy would just be really powerful. Matt said victory needs to be harder to summon though. Maybe boost to 500, given harder summoning requisite. Then Matt said, stop, no, Ryan, this is your fault. Then Ryan said, no, this is your fault. For someone who doesn't endorse it, you sure have made a mess of things. So you think it should gain 500 for each face-up Hydra Head monster you control? I honestly think that's too much. I don't think I would ever want to give something. Even if you control just one other Hydra Head monster, it'd be gaining 800, which is a substantial amount. What if it was 200 attack for each face-up Hydra Head monster you controlled? Because 400 is a lot, and 500 is a lot too. Because you just got to think of like a full board. Then Matt said, a decrease to all monsters is more powerful than a boost to one monster. Then Ryan said, 50 decrease for each card. So your opponent loses 50 attack for each face-up Hydra Head card you control. And then Matt said the boost would have made victory more fair. So this monster gains... then Matt said, now this is getting ridiculous, Ryan. What is even the point at that point of just decreasing by 50? I mean, I guess it depends on how strong it is. I'm trying to figure out how strong these tokens need to be. I could see them maybe being like 1,000 attack and defense. These Hydra Head tokens. They're not going to be like too beefy. I'm not like trying to make them beefy. So Hydra Head of Multiplication. Once per turn, when a Hydra Head monster would be removed from the field by battle or card effect, special summon 2 Hydra Head tokens. Beast Fire, level 1, attack and defense stack. Hydra Head tokens cannot be used as materials to special summon extra deck monsters or be tributed. Let's see. Ryan said 150 decrease for each. He's working on it. Okay. Would 200 be too much, Ryan? If it was 200, then Alpha and Beta could work together. Alpha could make all your opponent's monsters weaker by the same amount that Hydra Head of Victory Beta makes all your monsters stronger. So what if it was like 200 and 200? So you end up getting like a 400 net for every monster. And it kind of gives both of you what you're looking for. Because Matt wants it to be like higher attack gained. And Ryan wants it to be decreased. Matt said, now we have 2 victories rather than 2 different cards. Also, you make it seem like a full board will be commonplace here. Then Ryan said, let him believe. RIP. Well, think about like Hydra Head of Multiplication. Because I'm thinking about making Hydra Head of Multiplication a spell card rather than a monster card. Might even be a field play spell card. I don't know. But Hydra Head of Multiplication could really help you out. I think with all the other effects. Then Matt said, your cards don't guarantee that and are fairly susceptible to destruction and removal. I think if this is a pendulum deck, you might be able to get away with some interesting strats that allow you to summon multiple Hydra Head cards like at one time. I think that would be pretty helpful. Also, Hydra Head of Curiosity is like a good searcher. Hydra Head of Protection specifically exist in order to protect your Hydra heads from being removed from the field by battle or card effect. So that protects from getting banished. That protects from like card destruction, etc., etc. Dozer just texted me. He said, "On my way, asshat." Solid thumbs up emoji.
Can I rest here until my doctor's appointment, or are you hanging out here?
You can rest here. Me and Dozer are going back to his place. He got a Ben 10 video game. I'm hyped. Solid. I have 13 minutes left in the stream. Period. After that, I'll be right out and ready for action. Period. Let's see. Matt said torrential tribute, dark hole, MST. If you try multiplication spell. Does the multiplication spell only protect monsters, or does it protect Hydra head cards? It only protects monsters, it seems. Hydra head monsters you control, except this card, cannot be removed from the field by battle or card effect, as long as this card remains face up on the field. Hydra headed protection is pretty good, except for the fact that it itself is vulnerable. Then Matt said Raigeki, and this isn't even counting all the broken custom cards that exist. The custom cards that exist are like the biggest cuck on that. Then Ryan said, no one is playing real cards in custom. Well, that's not true. Some people specifically only play real cards in custom. I'm trying to figure out what else that I might want for the Hydra head. I really like Hydra head of multiplication. That one's probably the best one that fits within the theme. And I like the fact that whenever you lose a Hydra head monster, you can slam out those tokens. Matt said, but custom cards generally would replicate and enhance those real cards, along with other dumb stuff. Well, I mean, you can't just limit custom cards to doing one thing or another. They're so open to like what you're able to do with those custom cards that there's a lot of potential for just crazy stuff. Let's see. So we got a Hydra head of curiosity. I think Hydra head of destruction is really powerful in its own right. Being able to destroy multiple cards on your opponent's field if you control multiple Hydra heads, I think is really powerful, because it'll allow for a lot more direct attack potential, because you can just do that. You can just be like, oh, I got like multiple heads, boom, 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 goodbye to like all your stuff. Matt said that's why it's a dumb format. Then Ryan said it isn't a format. What defines what is and what isn't a format? Normally, I'm used to formats being based on having different rules, but custom cards is definitely a different rule set because it's allowing you to play the game with custom cards. You know, that's just not in the normal rules. Then Matt said, but it's viewed as one in Dueling Book, being like its own format. Right now, I feel pretty good about what I have on the field. Like I said, I really like Hydra head of multiplication. I actually think that's the best one, because it works well with all the other ones. Because they all want you, except Curiosity, which doesn't really care. Curiosity is a generic, you just get a Hydra head card, as long as it stays face up on the field. Nothing special other than that. Matt said, by the way, when this is a Dueling Book stream and you haven't even opened up the book, Dueling Book slows down the computer in the stream. And because I didn't even have like concepts out yet, like I hadn't written out anything about the cards, I thought it would be kind of weird to have Dueling Book open and slowing down the stream, but not actually making any cards yet. I still need to make arts for all these, but I only have 9 minutes left. So right now I'm trying to make sure that the cards themselves are good. And then later on, I can like make the card art. Ryan said he has to compose himself before he can open the book. But what do you guys think of the 7 cards that I have out currently? Well, I don't have them out, that I'm currently developing for Hydra head. Do you think there's something like missing? Matt said fake stream alert, and then he said you won't though. What do you mean I won't though? I can probably find some way to make Hydra head. And then he said all of them are bad. Matt, why are you lying? You can catch these hands, Matt. I'm ready. Well, I'm not ready because I haven't made the cards, but I'm hype. Like, I think it can do well. I think the only cards that I feel weird about, where I think they may not be good enough, Hydra Head of Protection is interesting. So I have to ask Ryan about this. If my opponent plays Raigeki and I have Hydra Head of Protection on the field, does Hydra Head of Protection eat shit, but I get to keep all the other cards? Or do all my cards just eat shit from Raigeki? Because Hydra Head of Protection says that Hydra Head monsters you control except this card cannot be removed from the field by battle or card effect, as long as this card remains face up on the field. But Hydra Head of Protection would get cucked by Raigeki. So would all the cards get cucked by Raigeki is my question, more or less. And then he said, what is the text of protection? I can copy and paste it into the live chat, but you can also actively see it on the screen. All I'm showing are card text. It's like half of what's here. But yeah, Hydra Head of Protection's card text is, Hydra Head monsters you control except this card cannot be removed from the field by battle or card effect as long as this card remains face up on the field. So my question is, would Raigeki destroy all the Hydra Heads if Hydra Head of Protection is face up on the field? Because if it does, then Hydra Head of Protection may not be very good. I mean, it's kind of good because of the fact that if your opponent is having to pick one monster in particular to destroy, I feel like they would focus on Head of Protection to have to get rid of it. So Matt said yes. So Matt's saying Raigeki would cuck all of them if Head of Protection was on the field. Then Ryan said reword it so it says they cannot be destroyed by battle or card effects. So you want it to be, destroyed rather than removed? What if it said destroyed or removed from the field by battle or card effects? Because I want it to protect from like banish and things of that nature as well. He said if Raigeki was played and protection was on the field, and then he didn't say anything else, leaving me in suspense. He said then only it would be destroyed. Okay, so Hydra Head of Protection does take the L, but it saves the rest of them. That's cool. Matt said that just makes sense, but I think he said that in regards to something else. So cool. Hydra Head Protection does do its job, so I don't feel as weird about it anymore. And then what was the other one that I felt weird about? Do I not have another one I feel weird about? I guess Hydra Head of Protection was the only one I thought was gross. Ryan said remove the removed word from the text. Do you feel like it's too powerful if it protects them from being removed from the field? Because the reason why I have that there is so that if your opponent doesn't necessarily have a destruction effect, but has like a banish a card on the field, like text, that protection would like protect against it. Because no matter if your card is like destroyed or banished or returned to the hand, don't those all count as removed from the field? So they have to get taken off of the field to do that. Then Matt said, you can't have protection from destruction, battle, and effect, and removal of all types. He said, that's ridiculous. And then he said, remove the word. But I'm just asking, why? He said, and rephrase it. So what would be a good rephrase? I guess would then be my next question. If you don't like the remove thing. And Matt said that's ridiculous, but I don't think it's really that ridiculous to have a card that protects against those things because it doesn't protect itself. So the card itself can still like get the dick. And then he said because it's redundant, but it's not redundant because of the fact that destruction and removal are two different things. Like destruction is a type of removal, but removal is not like a type of destruction. Removal is an umbrella term that covers like multiple different things. You know what I mean? But I don't think Head of Protection is broken because of the fact that the head itself isn't safe. Even if you had multiple Hydra Heads of Protection, all of them in their card text say except this card. So it's not like if you have two on the field that they're both safe because they're protected by each other because they can't defend themselves. They can only defend Hydra Head cards that have a different name based on the way that they're written. Then Matt said that means that so long as you can protect protection, you are basically invincible. So Matt, my question to you would be, how do I protect protection then to like make them invincible? Because I feel like you're overestimating the ability to do that. I imagine any other card that I would play to put protection on protection could just also get removed. Like if I had Hydra Head of Protection and I gave it Moon Mirror Shield, that would protect Hydra Head of Protection by battle, but then Moon Mirror Shield could just get removed from the field by like Mystical Space Typhoon or any other like basic removal card to just like get rid of it, you know. Protection always has like some form of weakness, so I don't think it's like as good as you're making it out to be. Then Matt said like Mist Body, and I believe a spell card that protects from destruction effects would make it near impossible to get rid of protection. Well, Mist Body is an equip, so you just get rid of Mist Body. Also, doesn't Mist Body only work on like low-level monsters, if I'm not mistaken? Mist Body, Yu-Gi-Oh! I could be wrong. Oh, I am wrong. I'm thinking about an armor card that has like a similar effect. Because now that I see this card art, I'm like, it's not just limited to levels. Cannot be destroyed by. You can still take damage though. That's why Mist Body is bad. Moon Mirror Shield is way better than Mist Body. Because not only are you not getting destroyed by battle, but you're winning the battle. Ryan said, as being protected from destruction by battle and card effect is the same as being removed from the field by battle or card effect, and Konami doesn't word it that way, remove or remove from the field. He said if you want to add more protection clauses, then add them in another sentence. So you feel like the word remove shouldn't be there because it's not consistent with how Konami normally like phrases their thing when it comes to like card removal. So do I need to say like Hydra Head monsters you control except this card cannot be returned to the hand, banished, or destroyed by battle or card effect as long as this card remains face up on the field? Because that's more or less what I'm going for. Banished, returned to the hand. It seems so wordy to say essentially the same thing. So cannot be banished, returned to the hand, or destroyed by battle or card effect as long as this card remains face up on the field. So here's the new protection text that protects from removal in general. Then Matt said, well, guess we're out of time. Hydras will never get finished. And Ryan said, no, that sounds dumb. How is that dumb? But anyways, that's all I'm going to do on the Hydra Head thing for now. Then Ryan said, which is why Konami doesn't make cards with destruction infallible to all such things. So do you think that's like too strong? I feel like because Hydra Head of Protection doesn't protect itself, that's not really that good. Then Ryan said, can still be tributed by kaijus. True. I guess it just gets cucked on that. That's why I want it removed from the field. Because I feel like removed from the field gives you like that solid umbrella. So if you wanted to be like exact and go through everything, it's like cannot be banished, tributed, returned to the hand, or destroyed by battle or card effect as long as this card remains face up on the field. Keeping in mind that protection itself is still vulnerable to all of those things. And then he said, there are only certain protections. I do have to end the stream now because we're at 2:02 and your boy Dozer is about to like pick me up. So I'd like to thank you all for watching. If you like this video, make sure to smash that like button, favorite, comment, subscribe, and ding, 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 ring that notification bell to be notified whenever we do these live streams. This is your host, your friend, your boy, Jet Black, the one and only, logging out. Peace. Ryan said, or a blanket unaffected. A blanket unaffected might be okay. Like Hydra head monsters you control, except this card, are unaffected by your opponent's card effects and cannot be destroyed by battle as long as this card remains face up on the field. But then you could still get like tributed, I think would be a thing, because it's a summoning mechanic, not a like card effect necessarily. And then Matt says it's too easy to protect protection. You just stack cards that enable those protections. But all those cards in their own right are weak, and then you're padding out your deck just to protect like one card. It's kind of weird. Just saying. But anyways, thank you all once again for tuning in. This is your host, your friend, your boy, Jet Black, the one and only, logging out. Peace, guys, and thank you all for tuning in. Oh, I keep forgetting to do the outro that includes Maddie. This is your host, your friend, your boy, Jet Black, the one and only, here with
Maddie.
Logging out. Peace.